Hey, welcome back to the Pleb Underground. We are going to take a look at the single most important number. Last week, we talked about the 10 most important numbers. Now, that's off the table. 10 was too much. We're going down to one most important number. Guys, welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining me. We are going to take a look at not just Bitcoin's single most important number, but guess what? We've got another amazing bottom signal that, frankly, if you haven't been here for, let's say, at least 4 years, you may not even know that this signal exists. But when I show it to you, you're going to realize that this is big. We're also going to take a look at some news coming out of Harvard, some what else? Some Binance stuff. I know, not really interested in the Binance stuff, but hear me out. It is something relevant that we're going to take a look at. We're also going to take a look at some Hopium, right? Some serious Hopium coming out of Brian Armstrong, which yeah, I'm always very suspicious. I'm always very suspicious when Brian starts to cheerlead for things. So we're going to take a look at that. And of course, we've got some more fun tech stuff to take a look at with cool stuff. Guys, it's going to be a fun show. Here we go. Let's do it. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. Hey, good morning, Johnny Midas. Okay, guys, so Bitcoin price, 67,097. There you go. It's bouncing around. Current block height is 937,108. The current fee, 1 sat per VByte. It seems like it's just eternal. What is that? Eternal September, I'm guessing. And yeah, the total public Bitcoin, the total public Lightning capacity, 5,677, has not moved since yesterday. But guys, take a look at this, right? For anybody that's telling you that, oh, you know, like my stocks are beating Bitcoin and this and that. So on time chain stats, take a look at this. You can see right here, right? This is the MicroStrategy versus Bitcoin charts. And you can do that with multiple other stocks, multiple other equities, like Amazon. Ooh, damn, probably should have just held Bitcoin. Yeah, anyways. Love time chain stats, good stuff, and keep it up, man. It's really, really cool. It's really coming along. It's like becoming the Swiss Army knife of Bitcoin data. That, and of course, time chain calendar. You put those together and you got everything. You got every piece of information that you need. And no, I'm not sponsored by them. They're just my friends, and I want to talk about their stuff. That's all. Anyways, all right, guys. The most important number, of course, it's coming from this account, right? The David MBA account, which I think he gives the best Hopium. I think he does a great job. And you know what? Even the power law godfather himself, Giorgio, isn't that his name? Giorgio or something like that? Anyways, he approves of this. Giovanni, that's it. Giovanni, he approves of this stuff. Anyway, so here we go, guys. The single most important number. It's no longer about all the coils and the springs and the crunches and whatever else. We're back to the gamma exposure. All right, the $10 million worth of gamma exposure at spot. Of course, the spot price is what Bitcoin is actually trading for on the moment. So why? 10 million plus is effectively zero gamma. Zero gamma means no dealer shock absorber. So what does that mean? Number go up. That's what that means. No absorber, flow set direction, volatility extends faster. So this is where we're going into the rubber band, right? The rubber band is being pulled, right? And there's nothing holding it. So that means we should go to the moon, all that good stuff. Okay, good. Perfect. We love it. Okay. Let's take a look at the numbers. We only had one number, but now apparently we've got more again. And we're looking at the spot price, the gamma flip. Okay, so this is, I guess, the new pattern, right? Of constantly putting these, even though it's one number, we're looking at 10 numbers. So, but guess what, guys? What's really important is this new date. So if you haven't been paying, or if you have been paying attention, the original date was December 31st. Okay, so the original date was December 31st or January 1st. We're not really sure. Well, one of those days. And we were supposed to, go up by like 20, 30K. That obviously did not happen. But then, of course, that was not entirely correct, because there was another event that, if that first event didn't take place, then the event on January 15th is definitely going to take place, which, as we know, did not happen. Right? We were supposed to get some other type of a squeeze based on call options or a whole bunch of expiries, which, of course, none of that ever happened either. Even though, yes, the options did expire and all of that, but we did not see this massive squeeze of cranking and all of that fun stuff. Okay? Did not see any of that stuff. But guess what, guys? We now have another date. 3 days from now, February 20th, the gamma expiring. And guess what? There's no dealer shock absorber. So, again, up and to the right. Okay, I'm buying the Hopium, sir. I am buying the Hopium. Hook me up. So here we go. The decision tree above 69K and accepted. The path opens to 70K retest. Rejection at 70K and loss of flip. Downside can accelerate. When gamma is near zero, price can move farther and faster than expected. No lies detected there. Good cover, though. Good cover, because he's just letting you know that even though this is all fantastic Hopium and all of these things are lining up, well, there's a chance we may get rejected, which right now, at the moment, you may say that this has occurred. You could. Depends on how you're reading that chart. And this is why I always like to have the premise that we are all, as humans, broken clocks. And I accept that. That's fine. All right, so what are you looking at this point, right? This is the chart of this gamma exposure, okay? And what you're seeing in the middle here, right? What you're seeing in the middle here is that gamma, quote unquote, right? That exposure with all that liquidity, that if it releases, up and to the right. All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you for playing. Okay. X. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because I've been on the Pleb Underground account. I've been complaining about how none of the live shows, Twitter essentially is no longer creating posts, and so you have to do a whole bunch of manual labor in order to get your posts to appear with your content that's live. So now they're launching smart Cashtags, enabling direct in timeline trading of crypto. In fairness, I'm not really holding my breath, considering what the user experience has been like for the rest of the Twitter features. I mean, Spaces still bugs out all the time. So I don't know if the best move is to incorporate more of our lives on this app. I definitely do not see myself using this as my bank account. I promise you that. But let's take a look at it. So the development aligns with Musk's long-standing plan to turn X into the everything app, essentially, doing China's WeChat, where messaging, payments, and services operate in one place. The trading feature comes alongside X Money, a peer-to-peer payment system. And Musk said the payment tool is currently in a limited beta testing and could expand globally after the trial period. I don't know if anybody's actually using X Money yet, if anybody's part of this beta program or anything, what their experience has been like. I haven't seen much of anything. So I guess we got to wait to see a little bit more. It's Hopium because this is going in the natural direction of digital assets and in the natural direction of digital money, right? Which, of course, gets people used to this, right? It gets people used to this environment. You got to remember, right? When it comes to human behavior, once you get into a rhythm, right, it's very difficult to shake that rhythm. And right now, we are not really in the rhythm of this particular environment, but it's happening. It's happening slowly. And this is, of course, right, X being as big of a platform as it is, if he can actually execute on this, get this to work properly, that definitely sets that's a little bit more stage setting for people getting more into the rhythm of this future digital reality, which is completely inevitable and happening in real time. One of my favorite bottom signals. Now, if you don't know Frances Coppola, number one, she's not related to the director. This has nothing to do with the person that's in the movies or anything like that. I don't even know if I think she's like I think her father was in the business of wine or something like that. I don't even. Anyways, it doesn't make a difference. Okay. The point is that Francis has been crying about Bitcoin since 2012. Okay. Most of us are blocked by Francis. And in all fairness, it's not even about trolling. It was literally just asking basic questions. Like, she had zero tolerance for Bitcoiners, zero tolerance. But the thing is that she can't stop coping about Bitcoin. And this happened yesterday. She retweeted Samson Mao and said desperation, right? Because Samson is obviously bullish. Every market crash, you always have people calling for lower at the bottom. It's just human psychology. Fear amplifying fear. Arbitrary support lines are drawn on charts that are never reached. Now, keep in mind, Francis has been hoping for Bitcoin's death, like I said, probably since around 2012. So it's a long time to be wrong, right? It's a long time to not learn anything new and just constantly dig your heels into the ground further and further to an idea that has simply failed massively. She's been dead wrong the entire time and can't stop it. Now, you may be wondering, why is Francis so popular with Bitcoiners? So she gave us one of our favorite memes, and that is the infinite pizza meme. Here it is, guys. Here it is. This is some lore. This is some Bitcoin lore, okay? Bitcoiners don't because you see, this person who hates Bitcoin, who has no Bitcoin, who doesn't believe in anything about Bitcoin. But guess what? She's got credentials. So you sit down. It doesn't matter how much research you've done. Sit down and listen to the credentialized genius tell you how Bitcoin works. Bitcoiners don't understand. Doesn't understand that if you slice a pizza into 100 million slices, it is no longer a pizza. This is a person. Okay, this is a person that went to university, and apparently, if you slice pizza too thin, it is no longer pizza. Could have fooled me. I didn't realize that it made a difference. Like, I mean, is that how that works? Like, if I break my phone in half, is it no longer a phone? Pretty sure it's still a phone. It's just a phone broken in half. Like, this is wild. It's crazy to me that, anyways. But if you subdivide a Bitcoin into 100 million Satoshis, it is still a Bitcoin. Yeah, it is. That's correct. Okay. 1 Bitcoin equals 100 million Satoshis is set in the code. Okay. But she doesn't realize that it's not about it being set in the code, right? It's got nothing to do with that. The decimals and stuff like that. So we need to back up. The Bitcoin I don't know why I took myself away there. The Bitcoin network, I know it's going to sound mean. The Bitcoin network has no knowledge of Satoshis, okay? It doesn't actually know that any of these things. The only thing that really exists on the Bitcoin network is UTXO sets. That's it. That's all that exists on the Bitcoin network. So this weird concoction that she's created for herself in order to prove her point doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Anyways, I'm glad to see her back. I'm glad to see her coping on Samson's post. We welcome the infinite pizza lady back. Unfortunately, she may have been here the whole time. Most of us are blocked, so we don't even know if she left. Hey, good morning, Silent Lamb. But I'll tell you this, to me, that's a bullish sign. It's a bullish sign that we've got infinite pizza lady back, and I'm happy to be able to share this lore with you of Bitcoin past. Okay. The Harvard news. Oh no, Harvard cuts Bitcoin exposure by 20%. It looks like the institutions need to learn about getting wrecked too. So Harvard cuts Bitcoin exposure by 20%, adds new Ether position. They're going to live to regret that one. According to SEC filing, the Harvard management company bought almost 3.9 million shares of BlackRock's iShares Ethereum Trust, valued at around $86.8 million. The company also reduced its stake in IBIT by 21%. Ooh, Meme number, huh? Roughly 1.5 million shares. The Bitcoin exchange traded fund remains Harvard's largest publicly disclosed holding at $265.8 million. Now, this was another piece which I saw floating around, and I just got to make sure that we're looking at this accurately and that I'm understanding this accurately as well. So data from the 13F filings with the SEC gathered by Todd Schneider at 13.info backs these points. It shows that institutions, okay, so this is all the institutions, reported owning 230 million IBIT shares in the fourth quarter, down from 417 million in the third. I mean, are you surprised that institutions are going to take a shot and try to do the whole diversification play? I mean, is anyone really surprised by that? I'm not. I mean, look, if we think for a second that some of these institutions aren't going to do exactly what some hodlers have done throughout the past, and the reason I say this is because we've seen this play out before. Bitcoin pumps, people get excited. Again, I'm not making any inference about, oh, you know, we didn't go as high as we should have. It was a muted bull run. It doesn't matter. The point is that we did the 15K to 127. Okay. And during that time, there's a bunch of fanfare, everybody's excited, all that good stuff. And then we peak out. There's a whole bunch of good news. The good news doesn't affect anything. Nobody cares. It's good news doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't matter. Institutions, right? They're just people. They're just people managing money, you know? So to a certain extent, it's totally feasible that, you know, the guys working at this Harvard management, whatever this thing is here, the HMC, we're like, hey, we need to diversify. Ethereum hasn't had its run yet. We should probably buy some of that, you know? They're going to learn the same lesson as a whole lot of other people, right? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Most likely, they're just going to end up wrecked. And they're going to learn a very valuable lesson. So I don't, you know, in the end, it doesn't bother me. I don't consider this a, you know, I don't consider this a loss, you know, per se. It doesn't really affect me in any way. I don't think it affects any of us in any way. Let's continue and take a look at this. So this is why we're talking about the Binance stuff, right? Binance France CEO targeted in home invasion. 3 suspects reportedly tried to break into the Binance France chief's apartment in Val de Marne on February 12th, but fled when he wasn't there. The group was later arrested in Lyons after attempting a second homejacking in the same day. Let's see. Authorities have not released further details on possible motives or connections. Binance has not issued a public comment on the break-in attempt. Throughout 2025 in the last year, multiple kidnappings, ransom attempts, and home invasions were reported against crypto holders and entrepreneurs. Last year, a Hong Kong man was sentenced to 7 years in Canada for participating in a violent, sexually abusive home invasion that stole 1.6 million in Bitcoin from a British Columbia family. Yeah, that's right, guys. Got to talk about that stuff a little bit, right? Because that is the reality. So, hey, the best thing you can do is lose your Bitcoin in a boating accident. That's the best thing that we can do. But yeah, it is super dangerous. Interestingly enough, though, for whatever reason, we're seeing most of these attacks, even though the last one here talks about being in Canada and specifically in BC, the majority of the attacks that we've seen in the last couple of months, though, have been out of France. Not that that matters, but it's kind of strange, right? It is kind of strange. Isn't Ledger out of France? Anyways, something to think about, though. Definitely something to think about. All right, here we go, guys. So look, Brian Armstrong only talks about Bitcoin when he has to. Otherwise, it's all crypto. It's all crap. It's all about his exchange. So let's see what he has to say here. Let's see what he's got to say.
It's clear at this point that, you know, Bitcoin is a better form of money than gold. It is provably scarce, just like gold, but it's more portable and divisible. So you can actually use it. Has higher utility, I would say. And it was the best performing asset of the last 10 years. And so For store of value, I think it's going to be important for governments to hold this over time. It might start with being 1% of their reserves, but I think over time it'll come to be equal to or greater than gold reserves.
Okay, great. Well, let's go to the next question. Let's go.
Okay. So far what we've seen, right? We're not even going to speculate. We're just going to say what is currently real now. What is currently real now? Well, the US government keeps its seized Bitcoin. Full stop. That's what it does. So when I see something like this, where I'm not saying that he's necessarily wrong, that the US government may not attempt to get to this magic number of Bitcoin. However, I think it's just a fantasy to believe that the government is going to do this by buying Bitcoin, right? I've said this time and time again, and I'm not gonna, and it's fine. If I'm wrong, I'm super happy to sit there and say, hey guys, I was totally wrong. Look at that. The US government is buying Bitcoin. However, what we are seeing is not that. We don't see that at all. We just see them keeping seized Bitcoin. Now, again, some people cheer for that. Other people don't. I personally don't give a shit about the state having Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, the state doesn't see anything beyond its own power. Okay? And it has the monopoly on violence, and it can print money. Full stop. Full stop. Doesn't matter. Everything else doesn't make a difference anymore. So appreciate Brian's Hopium, but in my eyes, the way that the government is, if they do get to that goal, we are, at least I personally am not going to be very excited as to the method that they will have used to achieve that goal. Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly. And it's mind-boggling that people sell this crap. And what's even scarier are the people who haven't actually honestly looked at the type of system that they live in and be like, yeah, the government's not going to buy that. Why would they? Like, you can print money for free. You own the means to violence, and you direct violence on behalf of the state. Why the hell do you have to buy it? You don't. The only countries that are buying it are the ones that have to buy it. They don't have the power to just take it away, or they don't have as much power to take it away. Anyways, yeah, totally mind-boggling. Totally mind-boggling. All right, guys. I love all the microcontroller stuff. I made 4 years ago, when I was much more excited about playing around with the code, I forked somebody's GitHub project, and I made a little Bitcoin stock ticker that worked on a little ESP32 board. I thought that was pretty cool. But this thing is super cool. Simple desktop countertop Bitcoin timepiece that gives you an at-glance snapshot of the Bitcoin network. You guys can find this on BTC-hardware, I believe it is, BTC-hardware.com. Sorry, BTC. Yep, that's it. BTC-hardware-solutions. Anyways, that's going to be in the show notes. But yeah, I love this kind of stuff. I just think it's fun. Even though it's nice to go and buy these things already working. The reason why I like these things is because oftentimes all of these little projects, they give you a list of the parts, and you can just go buy them yourself, right? And then you could just go build it yourself, go to the GitHub. It's fun. Yeah, exactly, right? ACP, I'll take the Armstrong Hopium. Why not? Why not? Hey, look, it's not often that he talks about Bitcoin favorably. So, broken clock. We will take our Brian Armstrong broken clock where he's bullish about Bitcoin. We will definitely take that. Anyways, guys, don't forget, sign the petition if you haven't. I'm sorry to be annoying if you have. If you feel so compelled, please donate. That's going to do it for today's episode. Have a great rest of the day, and I am going to catch you guys all tomorrow. And again, I got to keep reminding everyone, we're going to have Jimmy's song on Friday evening. So if you have questions for Jimmy or anything like that, right, we're going to have the live chat up. We're going to be talking about, I mean, Ulrich is going to be running this, so I don't even know what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. But if you have any questions for Jimmy, please join us. It's going to be, I believe, 6 p.m. on Friday, Eastern time. Have a great rest of the day, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow. Take it easy.